Hello everyone. I have brought forth a story I named Bonds Thicker Than Blood from a series I hold dear. And though this is my fourth work, this is my first work to make it to YouTube as an audiobook. What you are going to listen to is the musicless version where only my voice will be reading along with subtitles. To those who are reading along with the subtitles, the four main characters will be color-coded when speaking. Their name and color will appear at the start of each chapter. If you wish to listen along with the music in the background for a more unique experience, there will be a link in the description for a music version. And if you would rather read it at your own pace, you can read the entirety of Bonds Thicker Than Blood at Javier the Great at AO3. Link will also be in the description. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy. Chapter 3. Isamu cracks his knuckles as he stares down his first of many opponents, a slime. The small creature is light blue in the shape of a raindrop, and despite Isamu's intimidation, the slime couldn't care less as its face has a joyful smile across its entire body. Isamu winds up his arm like a propeller, shouting at the innocent thing, and with a lunge with lightning speed, he drives his fist into its gelatin body with the force of a horse's kick. His hand protrudes out from behind the slime with its slimy body around his arm like a glove. A confident chuckle escaped his lips, and he reclaimed his arm from the slime, yet the monster didn't fade, but instead reconstructed back to its original form. "What?" Isamu shouted in confusion, his body dripping in sweat, his energy drained from such a wild attack. He collapses to the floor, groaning in his pathetic defeat as the gleeful slime bounces away. "Isamu, are you all right?" Fidir asked, running over to him with a green healing spell which coats his grounded body. "You can't rush into battle without a plan. The monsters that Baramos have created are not like humans, and may require different means of taking them down," Fidir scolded, finishing up his spell. Isamu rises from the ground, thankful of Fidir's healing spell, but remains silent. Hotaru finally reaches the group, shaking her head at her brother's overdramatic display. Though he has grown larger since the last time they walked out of Alihan over a year ago, he fails to demonstrate the fruit of his training. Hotaru has suggested he uses a weapon similar to the sword she carries on her side. However, he refuses, wishing to follow in the footsteps of their grandmother. "Are we almost at Reeve yet? We have been out here for a couple of hours and my feet are killing me," Hotaru complained, while dragging her boots and crushing the beautiful grass. Fidir sighs. "And you thought I would be the one complaining. It shouldn't be far now. Just a little ways north and I'm sure it will be in sight." The three exhausted fledglings look ahead to see Aziza gazing upon the lake nearby. With the sun beating directly above them, its reflection is perfectly clear, as if staring into a mirror, though as the fish ripples the water, its yellow and blue color mesh beautifully like a water painting. "What's that tower in the distance?" Aziza questioned, kneeling down to the water. As everyone looked, it's just as she says. Alone sits a massive tower in the middle of the water. It appears there are no boats at its dock, but even if there were, it is completely surrounded by sharp rocks. "They call it Dreamer's Tower," Fidir answered. "Wait, how do you know that place?" Hotaru asked, shrugging her shoulders at him. "Many stories reach the church, and one such is the legend of Dreamer's Tower. Its story goes that a wise old man who saw the creation of the world resides atop the tower. Along with having knowledge of all that has happened and will happen, it is said when visited he will grant any wish that one may desire." "Is it true?" Isamu said, with his mind likely wandering at the endless possibilities as he looks to the top of the tower, rubbing his chin with a mischievous smirk. "There is no proof of such a thing, and I doubt a mere man exists there, or is able to grant wishes." "You can't believe that. You're the same guy who believes in the goddess." "The goddess is different and no mere legend. There are documentations and many who have been shown her light once they have asked for her guidance." Isamu appears ready to retort back, and Fidir's glare is anticipating his next words. However, Hotaru jumps into the way of both of them. "All right, that's enough. I don't really want to hear you two fighting over this while we are in the middle of nowhere. Clearly we are exhausted, and if we don't find this town soon, we are going to end up killing each other. As the three argue, Hotaru occasionally catches a glance at Aziza, who stares off into the lake, likely taking in Fadir's story and pondering as she usually does. Hotaru knew that out of her friends, Aziza would take less convincing than the rest. She spends most of her free time listening to Fadir's stories of the geography of the world. She has expressed many times her interest in the legends, sometimes more than Fadir. It's only fitting she would hop aboard such a journey. Isn't that it over there? Isamu said, pointing out a small building that could be seen in the distance, and with a closer look, there also is a stone road leading to it. They all gaze as if trying to see beyond the tall grass. Isamu darts ahead like a bolt launched from a crossbow. Wait for us! Hotaru shouted, while trying to keep his pace. The town of Reeve is smaller than their home of Alihan. There is no town square, outdoor food vendors, nor many people outside. Other than the few civilians who roam the quiet streets, the place could be mistaken for a ghost town. Stepping further in, and most of the houses are owned by families as they lock up for the nearing night, although they do eventually find a small store with a casually dressed man out in the front, with the only indicator of this particular building being a store is a worn sign. They walk up to the man, who greets them with a warm smile. Hello, travelers. What brings a group like you to our quiet little village? Hotaru takes the lead. We were hoping to find a way onto the mainland. You wouldn't happen to know of the next boat that arrives on the island. He clicks his tongue. Unfortunately, you still have about 2 weeks until it arrives at the northern end of the island, and that's the least of your problems, as a trip to the main island costs about 10,000 gold each. That's outrageous, Aziza blurted. I've never seen that much gold in my life. Tell me about it. I got a kid on the way, and we wish to live within the defensive walls of Romeria, as monsters are starting to pop up all over the world. I don't know what's going on, but I thought once the Archfiend was gone, his lackeys would disappear with him. The king better have a good reason for this. You guys wouldn't happen to know anything, would you? Nope, I haven't heard a thing, Hotaru replied, keeping her body still, while the others are far better at hiding what the king has requested. So that means there's no way off this island. Well, you can try talking to Roy up on that tower. So it's true about the wise old man atop the tower. He's real? Isamu interrupted as he pushed himself to the front of the counter. I wouldn't call him wise unless you mean how he still owes me for those books I lent him, but that's besides the point. He knows more about the island than anyone that I know, so it might be a fair shot for you. How do we get there? Hotaru asked. There's a forest nearby that has a stairway to an underground passage that was placed years ago near an old jail. A forest? We didn't see a forest. He shrugs. How? It's just outside. Only an idiot could be completely oblivious to their surroundings. I would like to think of myself as goal-oriented, Isamu defends before he receives a smack on the head from his sister, who is also goal-oriented. Never mind that. Just make sure to be prepared, as monsters hide in the shadows and will attack without mercy. Understand. Thank you for your help, Hotaru said. The shopkeeper walks further into his home, and Hotaru spins around to look at the others. She continues to frantically spin around until meeting her eyes with Isamu, confused as he is the only one standing by. Where are the others? He points to a nearby church that has seen better days. Fadir is in there, and as for Aziza, she has been staring at that horse for several minutes. She turns to face where his finger is now pointing, and just like the lake, she is blankly staring into a small pasture where a brown horse is eating dry hay that is scattered across the ground. From the way they both look at each other, it's almost as if they are telepathically communicating. If this is going to happen every time, we should at least say something, she thought, taking a calming breath. Should we get them? She asked. Nah, let them be. It's been a hard day for all of us, and sometimes relaxing without thinking of our next step will do us all some good. On top of that, you and Aziza are new here. Take a moment to take in the sights, and enjoy the adventure we have been granted. You're right. Not like we can do anything until tomorrow anyways, as the sun is beginning to set. Well, in that case, how about we spar for a moment? If we are bound to run into more monsters, it's best we stay in top shape. So much for taking in the sights. It surprises me how once in a great while he knows just what to say before returning back to his old ways. You know, I'm nothing like Grandma. There isn't much my lackluster sword skills could teach you. Sure, but you won't learn how to use that sword until you practice. She takes a deep breath as she glances at her copper sword. I wonder if Dad struggled learning how to use his sword, though I couldn't picture him inefficient with any blade. Grandma probably drilled lessons non-stop, knowing what had to happen. I should do the same, knowing what Baramos is capable of. Alright, but go easy on me. And thanks for the help. He laughs. I'm only doing what a sibling should do.